And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. Voting has ended across Anambra State, with sorting and counting of ballots now ongoing in polling units as the governorship election enters the final stages. The exercise was largely peaceful, with no major reports of violence, though several candidates and observers raised allegations of vote buying and voter inducement. Incumbent Governor Charles Soludo and other contenders, including APC's Nicholas Ukachukwu and ADC's John Uwosu, accused rival parties of electoral malpractice as INEC confirmed voting proceeded smoothly despite minor BVAS glitches. Benue State Sector of the Federal Road Safety Corps Special Marshals has called for enhanced security measures to ensure the safety of its personnel and the effective execution of their duties. The State Coordinator of Federal Road Safety Corps Special Marshal in Plateau State, SM Abayomi Adegbami, made the call on Saturday during the 2025 Special Marshals Sectorial Workshop held at the Command's headquarters in Jos. The state capital, Adegbami, decried the hazards faced by personnel in the course of their responsibilities, noting that such risks often result in injuries and deaths. Now, following the dissolution of the Adolf Mabara-led Board of Trustees by the fraction loyal to the party new acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has inaugurated a new Board of Trustees to restore confidence, integrity, and unity within the party. The event held at the Federal Capital Territory Administration official residence in Abuja brought together party elders, stakeholders, and political allies as the leadership pledged to begin what it described as a new era of renewal and justice. For details, here is Kabir Hassan's report.
It was an emergency meeting of the People's Democratic Party National Working Committee, a gathering that marked what members described as a turning point in the party's history. The acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed, said the new Board of Trustees symbolizes the rebirth of the party, reaffirming its founding principles of justice, fairness, inclusivity, and respect to the rule of law. Abdurrahman noted that the previous board had lost moral balance and credibility, which necessitated the restructuring to restore order and unity within the party.
Today marks another significant turning point in the life of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. We have come together not merely to inaugurate a new Board of Trustees, but to renew our faith in the ideals that give birth to this great political family, for justice, fairness, inclusivity, and respect for the rule of law.
The newly inaugurated Board of Trustees is chaired by Senator Mao Onahabunwa, with Isa Dansidi serving as secretary. Both leaders pledges to uphold unity, fairness, and discipline while working closely with the National Working Committee to strengthen internal democracy and restore public trust in the PDP.
And I believe that if we continue in this way, in keeping with our constitution, tenets, abiding by our rules and regulations, our party will definitely be the party that it is known for.
With the theme beginning of new era, the new leadership assured members of its readiness to reform the party structure, promote accountability, and ensure respect for the rule of law. The PDP leadership expressed optimism that the renewed focus on fairness and inclusivity will help reposition the party as a credible alternative in Nigeria democratic space. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The service has announced plans to strengthen its partnership with the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to enhance fire safety in Nigerian tertiary institutions. This came to the fore when officials of the fire service, led by the Controller General, paid a courtesy visit to TET Fund in Abuja. Global TV correspondent Ramsey Enoch Agbo tells us more.
Speaking during the visit, Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Samuel Adeyemi, highlighted the need for improved fire prevention measures in universities and colleges. He proposed closer collaboration between both agencies in the installation of firearms, smoke detectors, and extinguishers in all buildings funded by TET Fund, as well as regular safety inspections and fire education for students.
Federal Fire Service, we are here today to strengthen the existing relationship that we have with TET Fund. The more 2024, about 3 federal universities hostels was gutted by fire. The investment TET Fund is doing is large. Then me, myself, and the management, we sat down that we need to collaborate with TET Fund.
The TET Fund's Executive Secretary, Aksoni Echono, commended the initiative, describing fire safety as essential and pledging to ensure that all tertiary institutions under the fund's project incorporate fire prevention facilities, including mini fire stations where possible.
Fire protection is so essential. Bringing the classification of the buildings, ensuring that you have fire protection devices, the water hydrant, fire hydrants, the sprinkler systems for the bigger buildings, smoke detectors, and all the other facilities that have become so integral. In many countries, it's a prerequisite. So you cannot reuse any building unless you have those in place. But more importantly, you also need to educate the people. Educating people and the cautiousness and what to do in the event of fire is something that should not only be limited to us and our premises, but to all our beneficiary institutions.
The collaboration is expected to go a long way to prevent fire outbreak in and around TET Fund facilities and save the lives of both staff and students, as well as properties of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Benue State government is urging owners of demolished properties along the ongoing Markadi 9th Mile Road project to present valid building approvals from the Benue State Urban Development Board and Town Planning Department. The government says this will enable affected persons to benefit from the ongoing compensation exercise. Global Television News correspondent Felicity Inderi reports.
The Benue State government has begun clearing structures to pave way for the dualization of Federal Road from Wurukum in Makurdi to 9th Mile in Enugu State, a project covering over 500 kilometers. Following the demolition, residents and property owners, including the newly commissioned Tinubu Campaign Organization and the African Democratic Congress, ADC, have expressed concern over the exercise. Responding to the complaints, Director of Civil Engineering and Desk Officer for Compensation, Engineer Solomon Wombo, appealed to affected persons with valid documents and approved building plans from the State Urban Development Board to present them for compensation.
Let me cite an example. We have destroyed Ashafa filling station. Why is he not complaining? We have destroyed Zenith Bank. Why is he not complaining? We have destroyed the Atorutio, estate. He is not complaining. We have destroyed Eco Bank. He is not complaining. We are going to destroy Kabis now. Kabis will not complain. They have presented valid document of a development approval.
For the issue of demolition at that APC premises and ADC. ADC for sure, all of them know they have developed outside the property line. All those developments that were removed were right on the right of way.
Some property owners say they were already informed about the road expansion and support the government's efforts.
Our fence has been affected by this demolition, but as painful as it is, we were actually marked for this demolition and we were aware.
Others, particularly in the Kanshio area, claim that the demolition came without adequate notice.
We then come to mark the house, then tell us, say then go pay us. My children go there, go right. 1 naira, they no pay. Or even yesterday, when they come to destroy something there, we come, then I go there, I go meet them. I say, I go come this side. They say, no, I leave all my load. Now, so they scatter them.
As the dualization of the Makurdi-Otukpo 9 Mile Enugu Road continues, the government maintains that only the resident with valid document will be duly compensated. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
Moving on now. In many parts of the world, a girl's child to learn is still seen as optional rather than essential. Yet, when you educate a girl, you transform her future and the society around her. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, takes a look at issues that affect not just families, but entire nations' education of a girl child. Her report.
Across the globe, more than 120 million girls are out of school. Poverty, early marriage, and cultural norms and poor infrastructure remain major barriers to their education. Behind each statistic is a name, a story, and a future waiting to be unlocked. According to reports from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, every additional year a girl spends in school can raise her future earnings by up to 20%.
Of course, if you educate a single girl, it's like you have educated the entire society. And being a strong advocate of SDG 3 and SDG 4, I must tell you that we have already missed the way in Nigeria and especially in Arewa.
For the whole entire populace, education is very essential. Particularly as you regarded to our female you are asking about now. Yeah. You know, if you train your daughter or a female child very well, you will enjoy it at later date. One, they are mothers, they take care of the children, they take care of the husband, the parents, and we can't do without a female child in society. Without female child, the system is not complete.
Girl child, I think there's this power every woman possesses that men cannot deny. And so many men are coming to realize it right now that it's very, very important to train their girl child.
In countries where girls complete secondary school, child mortality rates drop sharply. Educated women are also more likely to send their children to school, breaking cycles of poverty that have lasted generations.
When we educate girls, we empower future mothers, leaders, and entrepreneurs. The ripple effect goes far beyond the classroom. Initiatives like scholarship, safe transport, and mentorship programs are making education more accessible. Because when you educate a girl child, you don't just change her life, you change the world. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
Watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Greenpeace calls for taxing of the super rich. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Central Bank of Nigeria says the ongoing recapitalization of commercial banks is essential to achieving the federal government's ambition of building a 1 trillion naira economy by 2030. Deputy Governor for Financial System Stability, Phillips Igiazo, said the goal is to create stronger, well-governed and inclusive bank capable of driving growth and withstanding global economic shocks. He added that the reform is meant to build a resilient financial system that supports innovation, development and long-term stability. Now, in the meantime, fresh data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that commercial banks deposited 4.8 trillion naira in the Apex Bank standing deposit facility as of November 7th, reflecting one of the strongest liquidity surpluses this quarter. The figures indicate that many banks prefer risk-free overnight parking as a CBN, which offers a 24.8% interest rate rather than lending to the real sector. Now, Alan List says while liquidity appears high on paper, smaller banks still face tight funding conditions as large lenders dominate excess reserves. On the foreign news now, the African Union Commission has rejected U.S. claims that the Nigerian government is complicit in the targeted killing of Christians, calling the allegation unfounded and contrary to Nigeria's constitutional guarantees of religious freedom. In a statement from its headquarters in Addis Ababa, the AU reaffirmed its commitment to sovereignty, non-interference and the rule of law as core principles of the Union. The Commission described Nigeria as a valid member, playing a key role in regional stability, counter-terrorism and continental integration. Hundreds of volunteers from Greenpeace Africa has formed a giant human banner in the shape of the African continent, displaying a printed message that reads, "Tax the super rich for people and planet to demand urgent tax reform at UN Tax Convention negotiations." Now, the gathering welcomed negotiations in Nairobi, Kenya, at the United Nations Tax Convention, calling for action to deliver much-needed additional public finance for climate mitigation, nurture protection, and sustainable development for making billionaires and oil and gas corporations pay their fair share in taxes. Over now to Uyi Agbomofregbe as he completes the report.
Frederick Njehu, Fair Share Global Political Lead at Greenpeace Africa, says concerted and deliberate efforts must be made to stop the world's billionaires who exploit the environment to enrich themselves, leaving catastrophic pollution in their trail.
The world is facing a broken tax system that is very unfair, that only favors the super rich and also favors the OECD, a few countries, rich countries, whereas the global south, the African countries, are not benefiting from the existing tax rules. And that's why we are talking about correcting these misnomers and having tax rules that are fair, that are just, that are also able to tax the super rich and also taxing the polluters who are causing the climate crisis.
Njehu further stated that the 1% of the world's population, those who control enormous resources across various sectors, need to be held accountable to ensure that countries in the global south do not suffer unfair economic disadvantages.
When you talk about the super rich, we are looking at a small 1% of the global, wealthy people who have, their own corporations, they control the wealth, and also they control the means of production. And these are the people who have not been paying their fair share of the taxes, and they have been paying very little. But if you look at the middle class, then the upper and the middle class have been paying quite a lot of taxes. They have to shoulder the tax burden. But the 1%, the super rich, are finding ways of not paying taxes.
It is estimated that countries lose $492 billion annually because multinational corporations and the ultra-wealthy use tax havens to underpay tax. Uyi Agbomofregbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Sports news now. The Nigerian Football Federation has released a 24-man squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup Nigerian playoffs in Morocco, with goalkeeper Maduka Okoye and winger Chidera Ejuke making notable returns. The Super Eagles will face Gabon in the semi-final on November 13th in Rabat, with the winner to meet either Cameroon or DR Congo for a place in the Inter-Confederation playoffs. Forward Victor Osimhen headlines the attack, joined by Lukman, Chibueze, Simon and Aroko Dare as Nigerian seeks a return to the World Cup after missing out in 2022. Midges Delight scored a 96-minute equalizer at the Manchester United salvage a last-gasp 2-2 Premier League draw against Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday. Although the result stretched their unbeaten head-to-head run to 8 matches, separated by just 4 points at the end of last season and only goal difference ahead of kickoff, it perhaps wasn't a surprise to see the two sides evenly match in the opening sequences that produced little goal-mount action early on. And the UEFA Europa League final contested by these two back in May was similarly gaugy, and repeat of that here arguably suited a Spurs side, which seen 6 of the 8 PL goals they conceded this season came before HT. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.